And again, two of my favorite things to do. Getting over my fear, getting over my weakness. You know what I mean? If I don't like the situation I'm in, I guess I'll have to change it if I don't like the one that I create. You know what I mean? We're in charge of our lives, I think. But that seems silly to say, right? God gave us free will and reign over the earth. Well, like I've been saying, there's a bunch of turds out there. I did this TikTok earlier. This guy was talking about one of the premiers in Ontario here. I think it's Manitoba. Danielle Smith. No, she does seem a little bit better than the other leaders that are around. She at least says she's not into the WEF and a bunch of Trudeau's nonsense and not into really hurting children. But even I don't think she stands up enough. But I also, you know what I mean? I can try and see things from other people's perspective. Maybe she thinks she's helping out the best that she can because if she did any more, they'd probably, go after her family or something. You'd probably get threatened if you're not going to follow a certain agenda. But I also said in the video, Pierre Poilievre is the leader to take over Canada next. If Jagmeet Singh ever just calls it and says Canada can have an election, but unfortunately, Canadians got to wait till Jagmeet gets his fucking pension in. You know what I mean? He says Trudeau's no good and all this other shit, but he won't call an election because, well, he might lose his pension, and that's just not worth it for him. He would let all of Canada just suffer in his fucking to serve himself. Unbelievable. It makes no sense to me. But hey, Jagmeet likes his nice suits and his watches, and he likes to look all swag. And you know, how could a guy like this is the thing? I don't even think Jagmeet's allowed in the States. How could we have a leader that's not even allowed to go into America right now? It's like, oh my goodness, what is that guy even doing in cabinet? Like, I'm sorry, if you can't cross the border and communicate with our neighbors, I don't think he should be leading anything. Like, I don't know. That's just what I think. Not trying to lead a country. But anyways, back to I was talking about leadership and Pierre Poilievre, the surefire winner. Everybody thinks. Like a while ago, this was some years ago. His name appeared on the WEF website, but to what he says, what Pierre Poilievre says, it's just it's just coincidence or something. It just they've never been a part of it. They went to something. I can't remember, but that gets you questioned, but maybe it's just a mishap and whatever. But the concerning part is that people went to this guy's rallies, right? And they were wearing Trudeau for treason for Trudeau shirts, and they got kicked out. Meanwhile, Pierre Poilievre's telling us, "Hey, China's interfering with our elections." But he's not sitting there standing up saying, "Hey, the RCMP is fucking withholding this information. How am I supposed to know I can win a fucking election if I don't know who China's infiltrated? Like, this is the people need to know, like, that's treasonous." You know what I mean? Like, eh, and why did China want those people in? Like, this is the thing. If Pierre Poilievre was any sort of leader, like, fuck, like he says he doesn't want the WEF, which is a good thing, but he should implore people. This is what he should be saying to people. He should be the same thing I am, kind of. Hey guys, go check out the WEF website and check out their videos. Justin Trudeau's been penetrated by the head guy. The current deputy prime minister is one of the head people for the WEF. Go see if that's the life that you want, where you own nothing and you're happy. And if you go to work, they can read your thoughts. And while they can police you if you're having bad thoughts, you know what I mean? But who's policing them? What's putting those bad thoughts into your head? Probably the ones policing you. You know what I mean? So if you disagree with the policing of your thoughts, well, the thought police are going to come and arrest you. But these, like, I'm serious, guys. These are their videos. Like, you got to take a look for yourself. And when Noah Harari tells you that the future of your children, because while humanoids are just scum, it's his words pretty much. You can interpret it any way you want. If you see anything different, let me know. But drugs and video games for the future. So are they really trying to get rid of the fentanyl and the drugs coming over the border? Probably not. You know what I mean? Might be part of the plan. I mean, Noah Harari, drugs, video games. Like, these are the people, the shadow government, these are those people. Go look who sponsors them. You got BlackRock and Vanguard and every one of your little restaurants are probably these conglomerates own and all these big corporations, like all of them. I know it's hard to wrap and comprehend around your guys' heads that there would be such evil fucking people that would search themselves over their country. But I think it happens. I mean, we should at least ask, right? Like, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure it out. Like, I'll go back to my deputy prime minister, Krista Freeland. And I don't hate Christia. I feel horribly horrible for her for what she's about to endure. This is just what I think, though. If you write a book about how the elites will control the world, you're part of the World Economic Forum, and you're a George Soros protege, I think you have bad intentions for the world. And her grandfather was a Yahtzee player. You know, we talked about that. So it goes back to like, did she ever even have a chance? Was she just programmed to be this way? You know what I mean? Does she even, because karma's going to be a big bitch for these people. It's every life that you affected, I think. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine affecting a whole country? I'm not saying she is evil. I'm just saying, hey, just say, for instance, she was really twisted and evil, and wow, she knows that this was bad and the whole thing going on. It's just a big plan. It's all going to Billy Gates's script. And could you imagine the pain you would have to feel for all the pain that you caused throughout all of your country, throughout all of this bullshit? That would be some serious karma, and I don't know how you're walking away with that. Once you figure out there's a God, like, are they serving the devil? Like, is Christia Freeland part of Nancy Pelosi's sex parties? Is it that bad? We should find out. Like, who's all involved? You know what I mean? But I think even the biggest dirtbags have a chance to get it with Christ. I just think that you have to be reborn, so you have to repent. In order to repent, you have to understand that what you did hurt other people, and you kind of have to feel some pain yourself. But could you imagine that having to wait a few fucking the whole country over inside of your brain, knowing that this might be the end, and you have to go to God, and you were lied to. You were just completely lied to. You were a fucking idiot. He was a liar from the beginning, and you bought the lie. And now you have to face your maker. And there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It's just you and God. And you have to project that movie. that ultra realistic movie, not the one that you made up in your head and justified your fucking actions for because somehow you had to or you had no choice. No, you always had a choice. You just weren't willing to risk it to make the right choice. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine, like, this is I wanna take it back to regular life here, just in case that shit isn't real. I think it is. I think it's worth taking a look at. But then you take that same sort of scenario and you put it with someone like Wade, right? His fucking lies have caused so much bullshit for me, and he knows that. His inability to talk to me, but yet make lies up about me, have an effect on everybody because people like him more than they like me. He's gonna be nice to him. He's not gonna say, "Hey, I can't be part of this group because I don't like the way this goes." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I, anyways, could you imagine facing God? Like if he lies about something stupid like that and just won't confess it up, what else is he holding back? You know what I mean? Could you imagine facing God over stupidity? Just stupidity. I don't know. You guys let me know where I'm wrong. The Bible says, or Jesus, did Jesus say it? Jesus, his father, his father's kingdom has many kingdoms. So maybe you have to know that you're a king here in order to get the kingdom there. Because God doesn't want to rule over you. He wants you to have your own kingdom, but lead it righteously. You know what I mean? Mhm. Takes me back to that Church of God because when you're watching, you like if you're gonna criticize something, you gotta watch. You gotta watch. And they had this preacher on there one time from somewhere else, and he sounded good. He's even like saying, "Hey, this ain't your church, bud. This is God's church. He's in charge," and stuff like that. And but yet knowing what they're about. I don't anyways, this guy thinks that when the end comes, you catch it in his sermon that he thinks he's gonna rule. He's doing this because he's gonna get to rule in God's kingdom. In what part of do you think you're gonna be a ruler of anything in God's kingdom? You know what I mean? I don't know, I don't get it. This is but I take deep thoughts into stuff, you know what I mean? Well, I look at words, I do word stuff too. It's like, just to try and figure stuff out. What was I looking at? Oh, no. Atonement. Atonement. It's a good one. Because look at the idea of atonement. At one meant, and meant is an action, right? So at one action, atonement for Christ. I like that. You know what I mean? Just breaking words up and sounds stupid, but you know what I mean? Maybe we can understand and maybe we could find out, you know what I mean? Why did we always have to change languages and stuff like that? It's it was harder for us to communicate and stuff like that. It's kind of weird, but who knows? Maybe they know if we ever communicated and started actually talking instead of fighting that we'd figure out that we've been bamboozled and we let a few little dorks run the fucking world and let them get away with it. Now, really, guys, what I'd like you to do is go put up posters of fucking Bill Gates, George Soros, and Klaus Schwab. And while in Canada, you could throw one up there of Justin Trudeau, and in America, you could throw one up of Joe Biden. even Obama maybe. And just look, those are the dorks that we're afraid of. Hey, loyal pit bull. Well, have fun at work. What do you do? What do you do for work? If you don't mind me asking. I must be getting ready for work. Anyways, oh, I was talking about atonement. Hey, guys, know what I was looking at? I'm always interested in the UFO phenomenon. You know what I mean? Always trying to bust out and find out who's lying to us and who's fibbing to us and why they would possibly be fibbing to us. So I don't know. I'm a thinking man. So you guys let me know where I might be wrong because sometimes I don't think right too. You know what I mean? I'm only human. But I put on this video on valuetainment, and it's of Luis Alessandro, that UFO guy who likes to talk about UFOs and stuff like that. Well, there's this guy called Greer, Greer, and he trashed Luis Alessandro or whatever it is, right? Saying that he was an informant and they're trying to lead America to think a certain way, and you know what I mean? So you gotta kinda listen, you know what I mean? You gotta kinda understand, because I think this is just me thinking, like, if Stephen Greer was one of the real ones, because Lewis does say that there was some flare activity possibly or something that makes Greer a fraud, so we should look at both of them. But I'm looking at this as a perspective of if I thought I had the truth, okay? So, Stephen Greer has obviously done his research on Lewis, right? Well, if you listen to this interview here, Lewis says he has no interest in what Stephen Greer has to talk about or who he is or what he does because, well, he doesn't know him, so he's just not going to talk shit about him. But he's the one that brought up saying, "Hey, he might be a fake because of the flares or whatever." But when he gets questioned on shit about Stephen Greer, he kind of says, "No." Here's the deal. Now, if you were in Luis Alessandro's spot and you thought you were talking the real deal, wouldn't you investigate Stephen Greer to see if he was the real deal? Maybe even work together, you know what I mean? These are the things that we gotta question, you know what I mean? Who are the real truth seekers and who wanna work together and who don't, who runs away and who wants to censor, but hey, they got us all so confused, we don't know what's up. I was, lower management, I did that. I liked it. As long as you can learn from your team, you know what I mean? If you can learn from your team, I think that's what makes you a good leader, you know what I mean? But you also gotta be strong enough, whether you're your friends or not, because it's work, right? You gotta be able to say, "Hey, you gotta do things right. You're not doing things right." And hey, there's consequences if you don't do things right, even though you're my friend. You know what I mean? I can't treat you any different than anybody else. So those are the hard things to do, you know what I mean? When you like somebody, but yeah, you know they did wrong and, well, anyways, I was watching this video by, I told you guys about it before, Apollo. I tried talking to the guy, he's, like, out there a little bit, I think. He makes videos of moving and saying, "Hey." That's light there. That's God. But God has a pinkish. And then he tells that we're from a place called Eden and that there's gold gold plated. I don't know how he doesn't say how he gets this information, but he wants us to take it on because he thinks it. But here's the deal. He says a whole bunch of great things. I just watched this video. I've talked about this before. He's talking about how the government makes it so hard for us to live that if we're miserable, we can't even get out of it. You know what I mean? He's talking about how many people are in relationships right now that they can't leave because it's just not financially viable, or there's there's no way. Like if you're out on your own, you just can't afford it anymore. So they kind of keep us trapped, and it's all because of material shit. You know what I mean? They keep you trapped. Like I don't know. To me, we're humiliating ourselves by operating the way that we do. Like, if you're contributing to the community, whether you're pouring coffee or you're pumping gas or you're in charge of a bank or whatever, you should be able to live decently if you're contributing. You can't even there's not even an opportunity to do that now. You know what I mean? Really, there's not. They want us broken like this. They want everybody on drugs. Is that you know what I mean? It's a better reality than the one that you have to live in without them, probably for some people, you know what I mean? Facing our problems are hard. It's easy to pick the easy way out. I think I'm here to try and convince people to, you know, try a little harder and figure out what they think is right and wrong and just start asking what the truth is, not being invested in it, just wanting to know what it is. It's the only thing that'll change the world, I think. It's the truth. The only thing. I was hoping Uncle Will would come in. I wanna let him know I'm always willing to listen to him, you know what I mean? Did you guys I think I played the video. Did you guys see Uncle Will's plan to save the world? I do have some questions about it. Who gets first go around? You know what I mean? The Democrats already had 4 years. Now, does that just mean the Republican term for 6 years, or do we have to vote this in, Uncle Will, or but then again, if you had this Democrats and Republicans and you had 4 nominees and you had to vote 4 different Democratic nominees, they'd probably all think the same because, well, in essence, really, we'd have to admit that they all serve the same master, so would it even matter at that vote then there? Because Democrats are all supposed to think the same, right? That's just like the Republicans as well. Is that a system that Uncle Will, was this system that you've come up with it was it well thought out? I'm asking questions, but that's why I always say to you guys, if you guys think my ideas are dumb, let me know where they're dumb. Let me know where they won't work. Because Uncle Will, I'm just not trying to say that there could be some corruption still, you know what I mean? That shadow government will still exist. And it exists on the Republican and the Democratic side, right? To which levels and to whom? I don't know. Do you know, Uncle Will? Is Trump sent from God to help the people? Is there a plan to prove it? Like we go back to the UFO thing. You guys don't know this or not, but hey. See, I just think that God shows me stuff by the universe showing me, right? So when I was still back, in the kind of thinking thinking weird stuff, like, but wanting to talk about it. I couldn't really figure out what my reality was, sort of thing. One of my things was that I was supposed to get a hold of Trump. And I still believe this could be true, you know what I mean? You never discount anything, you know what I mean? It's not like it's crazy thoughts or anything, you know? I was supposed to ask him what he would say to Jesus if he if Jesus asked him if the Galactic Federation existed. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it was based in reality, bud. You know what I mean? It was based in reality. 'Cause I don't know if you guys ever heard me talk before, and you guys please fact check me. I wish I could remember the gentleman's name. I think it was Paul something or other. He was a Canadian defense minister, and I seen him on this interview the first time, and I even checked it. I was like Googling, going, "Is what I'm listening to even real? What is going on?" And then, of course, I got the other side of my brain going, "Of course it's real." Go try and tell Donald Trump that the Galactic Federation's real. But anyways, Paul, what he was doing is he's talking about the Galactic Federation, and he was a real Canadian defense minister. I didn't see any articles out there stating that he was mentally ill or any of that stuff. He seemed coherent with his, with what he was saying. You know what I mean? And he said, I can't, there's a Galactic Federation of aliens that watch over us. And that something about they can't get involved, but they could under some sort of circumstance, or I can't remember. You guys have to go check out. Canadian Defense Minister talks about Galactic Federation of aliens, right? So, plus there's other interviews where Paul is in your guys' American Senate, and he's talking about the Galactic Federation of aliens as well. So you'd have to go Google that or YouTube that and go check that out for you guys yourselves too. So that's kind of crazy, eh? Crazy talk. And then again, they talk about Eisenhower, how he met the aliens, maybe, but then again, you look into his great granddaughter or whatever that is, that's some pretty crazy stuff. Well, you'd have to go check into that. But let's get back to the Galactic Federation and where that leads us back to Donald Trump. So there's a news thing. Now, there's an Israeli space minister or space guy or something like that. I can't remember the specifics to his title, but like a legitimate government employee. And what he told the public was, and they had it on news. You guys can go try and pull it up. Maybe it's a gag, maybe it's a troll. It looked legit. You know what I mean? I've seen other broadcasts that they do, so you'd have to check it out. But this Israeli space guy said that there's a galactic federation of aliens, and Donald Trump knows about them, but he's not allowed to tell the general public. So Donald's not allowed to tell, but this Israeli space minister is allowed to tell. Weird shit, but hey, I'm not making this shit up. You guys go look for it yourself. You want to call me crazy for thinking there might be a galactic federation? Well, let's have the government officials stop fucking lying to me. You know what I mean? Told you they're all liars, but are there some that don't lie? Gotta find this out. So, anyways, seen an interview with him and Tucker Carlson, and he said he doesn't know anything about any aliens or nothing. Excuse me. But I did watch this other one, and you guys can go watch it too. It's Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. And they're talking about aliens and stuff like that. And I believe Donald's response was, I wish there was something I could tell the American people, but I just can't. That's kind of weird. But then he went on Jake Paul and said that he didn't know anything. What is that? Because he has to, because of his agreement with the Galactic Federation of Aliens, or that seems weird to say, eh? The Galactic Federation of Aliens, like we're in Star Wars right now. And well, the force is real, and the force resides with the truth. So, we chosen ones here, we are here to chop the lies down. You know what I mean? It's like, you guys know we didn't come here to fuck around. It's been checkmate from the start. I tried warning you guys all. I really did. I really did. I really fucking did. I really did. I tried being every one of your guys' friends. Let's have a conversation. If you don't like me after the conversation, then Uncle Will. Hey, Jen. In fact, Uncle Will just, he wasn't a dick the first time. He just, something about we're all chosen. Well, I agreed with him. I didn't like the rest of his answer, and I never bothered him. But fuck, by golly, you go and stick up for yourself. And Uncle Will doesn't want to hear why you want to stand up for yourself, but well, he'd protect fucking third like Wade. Could you imagine picking a lie over the truth and then think you're doing good in life? But then again, Uncle Will doesn't want to accept himself neither. I've been trying to warn him that he's going to cry and whine and he's going to have a sore little brain for a long time. He did it to himself, just spanking his own ass. I'm like, Uncle Will, be careful, bud. Be careful. Where do you see my bad intentions, Uncle Will? Do you think my ideas would actually work if we could get people behind them? You know what I mean? Is child trafficking something that we should be worried about? And maybe we could put like a good hard like we could take a whole chunk out, like a big chunk, not just a Diddy here and an Epstein there. Never really finding out who the clients were. You know what I mean? Like, how many clients do you think we're gonna find out about at Diddy's? I think it was like they all got together and said, someone has to go down for this. And well, quite frankly, Diddy, you got caught. But maybe, who knows? Maybe he's got a deal and he can fake his death and they can lose the tape and send him to another island. Or maybe they decide that that's what they tell him. And then when it actually comes to, then they actually take care of him so they can never talk. And who knows, eh? No, it's because they want to feel safe in their homes with their children. It's not happening to their children, so they don't care, John. They just don't care. You know what I mean? That's where humanity's at. Let's look out for number one. You know what I mean? It's funny because I always try and tell the truth. I always say, hey, let me know where I might be wrong. And I don't call people names. I don't, I have before and I really, so I do make the mistake where I lump a whole group of people. I lump Creek Squad in with the Dork Squad. And anyway, I don't even know what to say anymore. I just wish this nightmare would be over. I wish someone would prove me crazy so we could, if I'm not, then we could just get this party started and I could just fucking look at Klaus Schwab and say, could you be so fucking stupid? Bill Gates, like, what is wrong with your fucking potato, bud? Like, what possessed you to fucking think you wanted to rule the world? What made you think that the ending that you would get would be good? Like, you boys have been playing pure stupidity from the beginning. Like, there was never a tempter, boys. Only yourselves. That's it. You've been lied to. You know what I mean? I keep telling everybody the devil has no power. No power. No power. Only the power that men give it. That's it. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for these celebutards that signed the deal. when they never owned their soul to give away anyways. It comes of God. It comes from God, right? You would think that that would be what God put in us, right? Our souls when he made Adam, and then that soul goes on and creates more souls. It's that godly essence. I don't know. That's what I think. That's what I mean. But unfortunately, we choose the devil. We get tricked. We live like fools. We live like shit. We watch our fellow men have to sleep out on the streets because fuck realities. They'd rather live on the streets than face the reality that's ahead of them. You know what I mean? It's a fucking sad situation that we're in. Canada, I don't even know what the fuck is going on here. This is Mondo Bizarro land. Like police, oh, they're fucking not. But then again, hey, you got to do as you're told. You just like Jag Meat. You don't want to lose that pension, eh? You want to be fucking sitting pretty at the end. Fuck everybody else. If I've got to fucking let a man go in fucking in a change room with little girls, then so be it. Because I'm not letting fuck all stop my pension, and I'm gonna provide for my family. This is the fucking retardation that is fucking humanity right now. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. You know? Maybe what would happen if these people who don't want to stop child trafficking, what would happen if one day someone came and overpowered them and fucked them right in the ass? How would little me feel then? Probably wouldn't feel too good, you know what I mean? Make you be a little sympathetic towards others that has happened to, right? Make you kind of fucking wake up. But then again, hey, people are so into themselves, they have this shit happen to them, and they keep their fucking mouth shut for money. Letting the evil stay out on the streets and do it to somebody else because maybe they can get paid. This fucking weird world I live in. I think it's because people don't understand the concept of God. I mean, I hear this fucking bullshit all the time. We're sinners. We're sinners. What the fuck is a sin? What is a sin? There's 10 simple fucking rules. And Jesus summed it up. Treat each other as yourselves. Put yourself in someone else's fucking shoes. Stand up for one another. Fuck. Love one another. Dad, feels good to hate. Freaking hate, hate, hate. And there's a difference. There's a difference. What I'm doing is not hate. I'm fucking, you got to use people's stupidity against them. That's what I mean. I don't, like when I say little me's a fucking dirtbag, there's some things that little me says and does that I agree with. Like when he goes after Rocco, he's not, he's not twisting Rocco shit. He don't have to twist Rocco shit. That's why it's so easy for him to make these fucking videos on Rocco and he struggles with me because Rocco says it. Like, this is who Rocco is. Rocco, you need fucking mental health help, bud. You need someone to talk to. You need to find out what's hurting you. And if you're unwilling to, then hey, it's your stupidity. And I just don't think you should be out there fucking entertaining children or whoever you're trying to entertain because you are hurting Steven so bad and you have no idea because it's your own pure inner fucking tainment. this is who we are. Like this Rocco guy is fucking like little me said it. I look, I just don't like making little me look smart, but because he makes himself look so stupid. So I guess it's only fair that I make him look smart. He's trying to live someone else's life other than his own. Like the Ryan Garcia thing. He bought onto that. Like, what kind of man of God acts like the way Ryan Garcia is acting? Telling everybody he's going to put their PP in their mouth. Like, and people are buying onto it. You know why? Because it makes people like me look fucking crazy. It makes people like Jaguar Wright look crazy. Why has no one sued her? And fuck, it took him a long time with Diddy, like I said. I said that I've seen an interview with the police with the guy that shot up Trump Plaza or whatever it was. And he's telling them that DJ Khaled funds Hamas and nobody's on it. No, they say that DJ Khaled is not nice to children as well. Now, you guys can go and ask Dagburn because he might still have the video somewhere. There was some group, like a Jamaican group or something. I may be wrong. I don't want to group anybody. It's like you can't even say there was a bunch of black guys. You know what I mean? Well, that's what the fuck are you even allowed to say these days? But anyways, they were smashing their albums that they got with Khaled saying, bud, we don't associate with people who do things like that to children. Sorry. But why does that got to be around? Like, why isn't the FBI taking care of this stuff? Like, why isn't the news all over? Like, why aren't the music stations going, hey, Dave Grohl, what's with this Dream Widow thing? Well, tell us more about Satan and why you love Satan. What perks do you think you get with being with Satan? Is I know, Jen. I know the FBI is involved. Like, that's the thing. We as society, we don't ask questions. We don't stand up for what's right. Like I said, that whole Hunter Biden laptop, when those 51, 52 agents signed off, and you guys found out the laptop was real, you probably should have fucking sent them all to jail. But we don't. It's because they're running shit, and we're too scared to fucking say something. You know what I mean? If Trump is the good guy, wouldn't it be best for us to come together and the people drain the fucking swamp? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be good? Because in order for us to lose our swamp, like, what are we gonna do? What, fight against our government and have fucking America come to the rescue? I'd rather try and alert America on what's going on too. You know what I mean? Like, we need you. The world needs you. But just remember, the original thought came from Canada. That's so no Americans put down Canadians anymore. They realize we're all fucking equal. I'm tired of fucking Americans putting down my fucking country. I like it's such a stupid hate. I don't know what the fuck. Like I've always loved America. Every time I go down there, especially in the South, I'm being honest. I love the South. Those Southerners are nice. Wow. I don't know that Upchurch family. It seems pretty fucked up, if I'm being honest. That's the thing, Jen. I think you're right. I think we all have to get to the point where we see each other as human beings, not a color, not a fucking sexuality, not, you know what I mean? Not a gender, not, you know what I mean? Just see each other as souls, you know what I mean? And let's try and do the best for one another. That doesn't mean, like, I think when I see people sometimes and they're like, I'm in Christ consciousness, and they're all like hugging each other and we're just gonna kumbaya together. Just like, oh my goodness. Like, if you're with Christ consciousness, you don't wanna be around a lot of people all the time. I mean, you do. Like, you wanna be around good people, but your relationship with God, you gotta be able to maintain that, you know what I mean? And that involves some alone time, I believe. That's why that's the thing. These fucking governments and stuff don't ever want us to get time to think for ourselves, you know what I mean? Maybe we might start thinking, "Hey, this doesn't make sense to me." You know what I mean? They keep us so fucking busy thinking about nothing and fighting about nothing all the whole while. Like, no matter where you're born from, the world causes all this chaos. You're right, Jen. Like, do you think those kids in Africa that have to suffer like that should have to suffer? It shouldn't be that hard to figure out that, well, maybe they're suffering because, well, that's the way they want it. You can say different, but in all reality, if we came together and had conversations on how to fix things. I know, John. It is, but that's the thing, we all need to start standing up and saying we shouldn't have to fear saying like, here's the thing, like, I'm being honest with you 100%. I don't enjoy doing this. This is my biggest fear is that, well, everybody wants fame, and I think if was a chosen one, that would cause some fame, right? So, in order for me to conquer my biggest fear now, which I think is the last one remaining, I have to do the right thing and I have to keep fighting no matter who comes against me, right? It's just but the thing is all I want is the truth. I don't know what the truth is. And anybody who says they know what it is probably a liar. You know what I mean? It's out there. I think we all have to find it together. You know what I mean? That's why I try and say, you know what I mean? My people over here, I was so proud of them for the convoy and stuff like that, but you know what? It didn't work. And we always wanna try and hit the head of the snake, you know what I mean? You know, no, we have to show these people who's in charge. And how we do that is show them that we actually do care and fight for one common cause. Maybe it starts off as, "Let's find out who's involved with child trafficking," and that Epstein list would be a good one to start with. And quite frankly, Dick Durbin could get that for us if we could convince enough people to ask Dick Durbin. Scare the bejesus into them. Make them hand over the truth. And then let's find out where Billy Gates lies. Does he lie on the island or does he lie on the good side of things? My personal opinion, and I'm not saying it's the truth, but he has done humanity a huge disservice. Now, I don't know what created that monster inside of him, but he's gonna have to pay for those monsters that he invited in. Can you imagine being Bill Gates trying to genetically modify and fuck the whole world? Like, if I'm right, I mean, I don't have to be right. I'd like to think that Bill is a great humanitarian and just probably fucking with shit he shouldn't be fucking with, but you know what I mean? But I don't think so. I think he's trying to destroy God's world by genetically modifying stuff. He wants to genetically modify everything. Our meat, our insects, our animals, us. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. Like, I'm an empath, and I can feel the fear that Bill Gates should have, and I'm tired of it. I wanna release it to Bill. I want him to know he needs to get fucking help. I don't like feeling like this anymore. I know heads are gonna spin and brains are gonna go fucking saucy. I think that but then again, I think there's people here to help, and people will just listen. But I don't know, maybe in the end, I'm proven to be a crazy person, and I'm not just a chosen one. I'm just or maybe I'm right about all the shit, and I'm not a chosen one. I'm just brave enough to look crazy. Who knows? Either way, it's all for the glory of God, and that's through the truth. If I could hand out any spiritual advice to anybody out there, she'd be, right in the truth. No, that's what I'm saying, John. I wouldn't wanna be him. I don't know if there's a hell or not, but if there is, I believe he's gonna get a good taste of her. But, wow, you think about the little things that they twist everything. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard me before, I've talked about it, but you take something like a swastika, right? Didn't belong to the Nazis, it was around way long before them, and there were some natives who used it. So they done stole it, so now it looks like a bad thing, right? If you see a Nazi flag, what do you think? Instantly, bad, right? Maybe it actually has some significance to it, and that's why they want it to look bad. I don't know, but what else have they done nicely? Yeah. Did you know the rainbow is supposed to represent God? Hence how they got that rainbow flag, you know what I mean? Put some pride and sexuality into it and, well, wave it all over the place. If I had my way, Jen, I would. I'd take that flag and wave it all over the place, and I'd have it represent what it's supposed to. Fucking God and humanity. That's what I would do. I would ta that's what I think God's plan is. Like, I think I see God's plan, and it's to use every one of his tools, the devil's, against him and expose him, using his own shit against him. You know what I mean? And let the devil know that the things that he took from God, well, quite frankly, we'll take them back. We'll make everything godly. Kick the devil the fuck out of town because he's a pussy. And the unfortunate part is maybe when the devil gets his pussy ass kicked out of here, maybe the men who decided to follow that pussy get to go with that pussy. But here's the thing. I don't know. What level do you gotta be on to avoid hell if there's a hell? But then again, is there? Is it just death? I don't know. These are the things people are gonna have to ask themselves in the future. Would we like to find out? 'Cause know what one of the things and I don't like saying bad things about people unless I truly believe them, and I would make a public apology, Jen, if I say the wrong thing. But to me, Klaus Schwab, we all know he's a penetrator. He's said it on TV. And the relationship with Klaus Schwab and the Pope, knowing that the Pope is supposed to be representing Jesus, and he ain't doing shit. In fact, I think he's hurting things. I'd like to ask the Pope, why do you guys have a telescope called Lucifer? Why do you guys keep looking up in the skies? Do you guys know things about aliens? What's under the Vatican there, Popey? Can we open that up to the public? Like, isn't Jesus for everyone? Why are you keeping them all to yourself, you selfish little Jesus lover? I don't think he is. I think he's a Jesus hater. But here's the thing, John. I think to myself all the time. I say the name Jesus, right? I know that Jesus never heard that name. Never ever once when that avatar was down here did he hear the words Jesus. So that's gotta make you question. But then you hear Yeshua in with the J would be Joshua, right? But there's a Joshua in the Bible. So do you think there is like Jesus? Do you think it's like just a one of the devil's little devil? He's not smart though. It's not the name that matters. It's the character. When you say, Jen, the character of Christ is the one you want to be in. You know what I mean? It's not the name. The name doesn't really mean anything. It's the character, I think. He said, be like me, have my character, have a mind like me, have a heart like me, see like me, feel like me, and you'll go to heaven. And how you do that is by going through the truth. Now, Carl Jung does tell us, see, Jacob, it doesn't matter to me his name. Like, I question everything, but like, the Russians just threw out those paintings of Black Jesus just recently, right? Ah, Jesus was black. We gotta come to the understanding that he's black now. Wow. I'm sorry. If you brainwaves can't figure out that the possibility of him being black was probably pretty high, but I don't know, but we don't know what color he is. You know what I mean? Like these paintings, is it just timely or like, but then again, who cares about the color, right? Like it's supposed to be the character, regardless of your color. You're all a color under the rainbow of God. You know what I mean? You looked into Carl Jung, hey, Jen, that's the thing, Jacob. We don't know. We don't. How can we tell? We have no proof. We have nothing. Yeah. This is what I mean. Please, I want to, and I think the Bible is the way it's supposed to be, but I honestly do. But I think the devil's had his hand in there. Like to be honest, King James was not a solid man of God. I don't think. I don't think he was. Just saying. You know what I mean? Just because people tell you they're godly men doesn't make them godly men. But I think it's all lit. Like, have you have you ever read the Gospels of Thomas? What if that stuff's real? Because that stuff says the same stuff in the Bible. Like if you read the parables, it's the same shit. It's the same stuff. I think someone could show me where I'm wrong, but yeah, I like I said, I don't care. I don't think anymore on. I just think of who Jesus was, not what his avatar was. You know what I mean? I used to think the resurrection was just the stupidest thing ever. But hey, it kind of does make sense, right? Like, I don't know if it was real or not, because some people say it's not, but it makes sense that well, with the story, it makes it so it would be real, right? To me, because, well, everybody turned their back on Jesus when they were about to string him up on that cross, right? They were like, I don't know that dude. I don't know that dude. And they're all runskins. You know what I mean? Something had to bring them back to the realization that, well, they should get back on track and start preaching the word of Jesus. You know what I mean? Not the see, here's the other thing that I don't get, Jacob. Isn't there somewhere in the Bible, or am I just getting this from the chosen and it's not really in the Bible? Doesn't Jesus say to the Pharisees, what you jackasses are trying to promote goes way beyond what God ever asked for? You know what I mean? Doesn't he say that? So that makes even the paperwork that they had back then too much. You know what I mean? This is the thing, Jacob and Jen. This is what I think. I think Jesus's purpose was to come down and not show the world his power, but try and convince men of their own power. He told he he said, "You guys will do far greater than I have." And when they were trying to persecute him for saying he was a son of God, did he not say, "Hey, are we not all gods? We belong to him, so we're gods. Either way, we're just not God. Just if you wanna be with God, just fucking be in the truth, in the Son. Know who you are. Know the things that you do and you say have an impact upon the universe and others." You know what I think it was a simple message, but we we as humans like to make everything so fucking complicated. But yeah, I think we all are sons and daughters of God. We just need to come to that conclusion. You know what I mean? Hey, beautifully broken. How are you? Else? What else then? That's the thing, Jen, and he was killed for it. And that's the thing. I think it's our responsibility. If you're a follower of Christ, it's your responsibility to be willing to die for the truth. You talk about Bill Gates and all these shit turds that when the time comes to pay, you wouldn't want to be that. Could you imagine going to God dying for the truth? Because that's all you wanted. I'm gonna go, I just want what's best for everybody. That's all.